Okay, we are going live just shortly here. Okay, I believe we are live. Oops, there's a big delay there. Okay.
On the streaming, there's a big delay?
No, we are live, okay?
Yeah.
I have to mute some volume here because I'm getting a kickback. Yeah. Hi, everyone. Gail Watson, President of Women Speakers Association. In about 3 minutes, well, first of all, I'm here with Karen Strauss, who you will want to meet. She's a publisher of Women Speakers Association, WSA Publishing. And we're here to, if you had questions about writing a book or what a book would do for your business, we are here for you to get your questions answered. Okay, we're just here for a short time together. So we've just come on a little bit early and make sure we're working, all our technology is working fine. So while you're here, if you have questions, please feel free to pop them into the chat, and we hope to get all your questions answered. What's our topic today, Karen?
Today is the 10 benefits of writing a book, how you will benefit by writing a book.
That's awesome. And I have feedback coming in from my Facebook, which I'm not quite sure how to correct that. So I'm gonna have to go blind with our conversations here.
Okay.
Oh, fun stuff. 1 second here. Let me just see. This is why we come on early to fix up some things.
Pick up the technical glitches.
Yeah, 1 second here. I need my volumes. Yeah, I'm afraid if, I need to, Tracy is our expert here. Tracy. Okay. All righty. Okay, let's see. Who do we have coming on? If you're watching us live, please go ahead and pop your name in or share with us where you're tuning in from. We'd love to get to know you more. And really what a question is that you would like to have answered. What has attracted you to this subject? She said, no, it will be fine. Okay, so here I go. I am turning off my Facebook. So I'll make sure that we are still live. Okay, you can also click in them. Okay, 1 second here. Okay, she says we're still live. That's awesome.
Good. Glad to know.
Okay, Karen, we have some people joining us in. That's awesome. Hi, Jane Coleman. Great to see you. Tracy, love you. A. Cole, what's your first name? A, what does that stand for? Please go ahead, if you are joining us on the webinar, to put your comments in the chat box. We will be answering those directly with you. And if you are live with us in Facebook, please put any comments in your chat box. And if you know somebody who could benefit from having a book in their business or have questions about writing a book to enhance their business, feel free to share this broadcast. We would greatly appreciate it. Amy, great to see you. And okay, with that, we are going to get started. So Karen, if you'd like to share your screen.
Certainly.
That would be wonderful.
This is the one.
Yeah.
That's the one, right? Okay.
That's the one. We are there. Okay. 10 benefits of why you need to write a book. So during this, our time together, which will be short, we're only talking about the next 20 minutes. We want to share with you some great ideas. As women, entrepreneurs, and dedicated to getting your message out, we want to, a book greatly enhances that ability. It's simple, and we want to be able to help you grow your business. Thanks everybody for joining in. And those of you who, Alicia, okay, great, Alicia, thanks. I am monitoring the chat, so if you're joining live on the webinar, please pop your questions in to our chat box, and I'd love to know where you're calling in from. So if you can tell me where you're calling in from. If you're with us Facebook Live right now, I'd love to know that too, where you're calling in from. Okay, and thank you for all who is sharing this broadcast out. All right, let's get started.
Ready to go?
I would love to introduce you to Karen Strauss. So Karen, if we can flip that screen.
Yep. Now it's not working.
Oh, okay. The arrow
There
down.
we go.
Okay. Today, you are in great hands. Women Speakers Association, as you know, we are always seeking ways on how to give you more visibility, how to get your message out. And we are super, super excited to announce a partnership with Karen Strauss. Why Karen Strauss? Well, let me just share with you who she is, because you'll be blown away, just like I was when I first met her, which was only really a few months ago. So Karen has worked in the publishing industry for more than 30 years, okay? She's held management and marketing positions at major New York publishing houses, including names like, have you heard of Random House, Macmillan, The Free Press, Crown, and Avon, okay? She has worked with hundreds of authors as well as New York Times best-selling authors and celebrities. So here are some names that may ring a bell with you. Martha Stewart, John Grisham, President Jimmy Carter, Og Mandino. Okay, you can see the names right there. So she knows her stuff, because they're not going to hire her if she doesn't. So her publishing skills are highly endorsed for professional quality, excellent service, and eye-catching titles and book covers designs. Okay, and the biggest part of here is many, if not, well, close to all of her authors are featured in the media and are really active at speaking engagements. So Karen and I met, and I would love for her to share, Karen, if you could share your story as to how the mission and why it was important for you to join in with Women Speakers Association.
Sure. Gail had said, what is your reason for doing this? And I said to her, because I feel strongly that no one should die with a message inside of them. And where that comes from is that in 2010, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And it certainly was the scariest time in my life, where, you know, they say you're going to live, but you don't really know. And it was a year-long journey of, frankly, being up and down and up and down. And between the chemo and the radiation and the idea of, you know, my life was just not the same. And I thought about my mortality. I thought about, well, my independence was pretty much gone, and I had to really rely on other people, which turned out to be the best blessing of all, to be honest, because I was a very self-sufficient person. I could take care of myself until I couldn't, and realized that I had an amazing support system. And all of these people came to my rescue and my help, and I was blown away. And then I realized that, you know, my life could have stopped at any point in time. And I said to myself, oh my God, I'm like 55 years old and I still feel that I have so much to say. And, I don't want to die without fulfilling my mission and my purpose. And that year made me really think about, what is my purpose? And then this blossomed really into, I want to help other people, and particularly women. I want to help them with your mission. I want to know what's inside you, and I want to help you get that message out. Obviously, one of the best ways to do that is to write a book, and I feel that's a combination of where my talents lie in helping you do that, but also I feel like that's satisfying my purpose in life.
Love that. And if any of you can relate to that message, I'd love to hear your comments here. And that's our mission here, WSA Publishing. It's very simple. So we're going to go through some of the steps on writing a book and how it can really enhance your business, but most importantly, get your message from within to get it out. Okay, Karen, take it away.
All right. So the first benefit is that you demonstrate your experience. So, all of us have been to a ton of conferences and webinars and seminars, writing notes, attending programs. Some of us have actually written articles and blogs, and, we've created all of this content. So, and we've attended all of these conferences to gain more education about our industry. Okay, so great. What do you do with all of this knowledge and content that you've created and learned? So as I put it, what's the quickest way to prove your ability to people who are not your mother? So I feel strongly, and I think Gail agrees, that writing your own book with your name on the cover, or even a joint venture book where you are, part of a group where if you're not ready to write your own book, you can write a chapter in a book and still be part of that group and that theme. That establishes your expertise in an industry, provides a platform for the message that you can give to your potential clients. So that is a huge benefit because it's a very concrete way of saying, here, I really am the expert in my industry. Another benefit is to increase your credibility and status. Authors really are respected. They're almost like rock stars in their industry because they have achieved the concrete goal of publishing your work. So, in the educational field, it's definitely, I'm sure you know the old adage, publish or perish. Well, there's a reason for that, because you need to be up and current on all the latest things that are going on in your industry. If you're not seen as current and you're not seen as kind of being all out there, then why would people hire you? Why would people work with you if you have old knowledge, like 30-year knowledge? So having a book absolutely increases your credibility in the marketplace. It also gives you much more confidence in promoting your business because, again, you have this concrete thing and you're not always trying to figure out, okay, what's my message? What's my pitch? Oh, here's my book. Let me give you my book to learn more about me. So I think that's an absolute advantage.
It really is that next step in your business. As you say there, from, why we start our businesses is to share our expertise in a particular area. And it really is that next step to make us that celebrity expert.
Exactly. And so authors really are. I have a friend who wrote a book. He's in the accounting industry, basically. And, it's pretty boring, and, and people go along and they do the numbers, and how can you differentiate yourself? And then he wrote a book about, the myths of actually creating a small business. And, he helped people be successful in startups, because more than 50% of new businesses actually fail. So he wrote this book, and he gave some concrete reasons and examples of what not to do, when you're creating this business. And people panicked, because if you've got a negative message in some ways of, oh my God, I need to learn about the mistakes I might make. Oh, and now that I've read about, Joe, I now need to hire him. So, and then he would meet people, and they'd look at him like he literally was a rock star. And they'd look at him and go, oh my God, I know you. Oh, you wrote that book. I need to speak to you. So it has an amazing effect that you wouldn't believe until you actually see it.
Okay.
And then another benefit, solidify and articulate your knowledge. All right, so you may have perfected your one-line elevator pitch. I actually had a conversation with someone last night who it's the opposite, where she's writing her book, and from the book, we're going to actually create that specific elevator pitch for her so she can really define what her message is. So either way, writing a book gives you the opportunity to either expand and fully express your story, for sure, but it also, if you're not quite sure how to express your pitch, because it needs to be in 30 seconds or less, a book will help you clarify that. So not only will people be more likely to hire you, there's a much better chance they're going to come to trust you, because a key component offers the prospect in which they will hire you or recommend you to others, because you've got this credible book, you've got this great expertise, and it makes you real.
Love that.
Yeah. And the next benefit is to expand opportunities for media and speaking. And I think that's something that all of us who are members of WSA really want and really relate to. When you're writing a pitch for a radio show, or you're writing to an organization that says, hi, I can keynote speech. I have all these keynote speeches that I can come to your organization and talk about. Frankly, I think you go to the bottom of the barrel unless you actually have a book to show. Radio shows, TV shows, they all want you to have a book, because it's easy then for them to write questions and to figure out where you're coming from and to see that you're legitimate. And equally so, if you are a speaker, they want to know some subjects based what you can speak on. And if you've written a book about the topic, then you are ahead of the game. A lot of people I know, once they've written a book, they actually decide not to even print business cards, because instead of business cards, they give out a book. And there's nothing more surprising and interesting, because who else is going to do that? So it's pretty cool. Again, it's a media tool. It ensures the appearance of existing credibility. So you have this focused topic that producers and interviewers will really appreciate. And the last point is the most highly paid speakers do have multiple books, because they're participating in speaking engagements, and then you can have many topics that you can fill, that you can speak about, that appeal to many different audiences.
It really is that game changer for media specifically, to get on shows and interviews, and also for those larger stages those event planners really like, because if they can promote you by saying you're best-selling author or author of, your particular subject, that makes a big difference for them in how they're communicating and promoting you to enhance their event. And the exact same thing for TV and radio. Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then something we all love, with a book, you can create multiple streams of income. So for instance, in our industry, we call it creating sales funnels. And that's something I'd love to teach on another webinar at some point, but it's definitely how you grow your business. And so you can sell your book online, you can sell your book at live speaking events, but you can also include it in a larger product. So a book functions as your entry level information. So people might be willing to pay $15 to buy a book to find out more information about you, but they're not going to pay $5,000 to join a mastermind or $1,000 to attend a live event or a speaking event unless they actually know you and trust you and really kind of jive with your message. So a book becomes the entree into creating these sales funnels, meaning you're creating all this product. So you can create an audio book, an ebook, an online course. Then you can branch out into coaching programs, which many of us do. And then the VIP day, which you can charge thousands of dollars for, which is really fun because then you get to spend a day one-on-one in a lovely, wonderful place. In New York City, it's like 5 below, so I would not come to New York City right now. And I'd love to go anywhere warm. So if anybody's holding a VIP day where it's warm, let me know. And but seriously, the book is really kind of the beginning of a whole stream of income opportunities for all of us.
Mm-hmm. So important, because that's what we want to do. We want to get out there and grow that business and be able to build that financial freedom of a model and get our message out.
Exactly.
Monetizing that message. Awesome. And again, just a reminder I'm just quickly glancing through Facebook. Thank you for the likes and hearts. And we have a lot of viewers going on. Remember, pop in your questions for the people live on the webinar here today. Pop in your questions as they come through. We'll make sure we get to them just after we learn some more ways.
Okay.
With this book.
All right. And this kind of is it the same thing about growing your business. Your books are going to reach a wider audience. It'll be online. It'll be, in libraries. It will be, if you take it to speaking events and so on and so forth. And it'll just attract more people to you. And then in so doing, you have the opportunity to talk about your business and your services. And it just attracts more people. And so you have more to offer. And the idea is here that you are known as the expert. And that's how you distinguish yourself amongst everybody else in your industry. You're the go-to person, and that's how a book can help you.
Mm-hmm.
Again, and playing on that, it provides an opportunity to differentiate yourself. So whatever your profession or expertise is, you're going to have a lot of competition. How do you stand out from the crowd? Someone like me who runs a hybrid publishing company, it's kind of pioneer zone out there because everybody knows about self-publishing, everybody knows about traditional publishing, and hybrid publishing is a little bit new. So there's a lot of players out there, and there's competition, some legit and some not so legit. And so how do I distinguish myself in terms of getting people to work with me? And one of those ways is writing books and speaking. So, and how many of people in your industry have written a book? I would venture to say that not very many people have written a book specifically about your industry. So that is the one way, and perhaps the most important way, to set yourself apart and receive serious attention from your ideal client. And then, of course, a book is a foundation to a very successful business. So as I talked about before, based on the topic of your book, you can do webinars and courses and video series and seminars, keynote speeches, and coaching. So you just basically create more opportunities to get free publicity too. So radio shows will want to interview, TV, you can do your own podcasts, and then also, which is a great thing to do, because if you have a podcast, you want to invite guests on your podcast, and then of course they're going to invite you to be on their podcast. So it's a quid pro quo, and I would recommend that everybody does that, to have some kind, or if you're a blogger, you want people to guest post for you as you want to guest post for them. So, and in doing so, all of this builds your personal confidence that, hey, I'm not a fraud. I'm an expert. I really, really am. I have the confidence. I know that I'm the best in whatever my expertise and my industry is. I know I have the goods. And writing a book really, really makes you believe that.
Right. I've met many of our members actually who have shared stories where they had the message within them. They weren't necessarily building a business at the time, but all their only passion and their desire was to get their message out and share it with the world. So they did a book, and very interesting, the book actually launched business. And I really believe that if we all stood on a book, that is a solid foundation, because those who launch their business first, almost with a book, have a stronger success rate because they almost get instant publicity, right? And that hype and that awareness is so easy to create with that book. And so that's another side. If you're somebody who's just wanting to get your message out, that book can launch, and probably will, a very strong business to it.
Absolutely. And it's simply one way to get more customers. As we talked about before, a book is a way to inspire people to trust you because it's not a large investment. So people are going to download a $4.99 Kindle, or they'll buy a $9.95 or $12.95 paperback, because they're interested in hearing, in reading what you have to say. And they're more likely to take your brand and your business much more seriously. And you get to reach more people through all the different channels, as we talked about before: audio, ebook, print book. And so there's lots of ways to bring out your content. I am a firm believer that we all have content to share, particularly people who belong to this group. We all have content and a message, but each person out there also likes to receive information in a different way. So I personally like to read a print book. A friend of mine, she just likes audiobooks. If you drive a lot, and she listens better more than she retains words. So some people, when I'm in a plane, I don't want to be carrying 20 books, so I can have my ebooks or my Kindle or whatever and have 20 books on it and decide. So I just think it's important to write your content in all different ways, with a book, we can create that print book, ebook, audiobook. It all goes together. So, and it just gives more options for people to do business with you. And then on a personal level, I promise you, the book you write is going to change your life. Because, and this goes back to my message, where I have talked to so many people, and they say it's been a dream of mine to write a book. I've never done it. I don't know if I'll be able to do it. I don't know what to write about, but they wish, like, some people want to be a singer or an actor or a rock star. This is right up there. It's amazing to me how many people write a book, but they never get to do it. And now we have the opportunity to offer you a way to really realize and achieve your dream. It's a lot easier than you think it is because we're with you every step of the way. And so, I say here, it's likely you became an entrepreneur in the first place because you have a passion for what you do. And so you should look at writing a book to help others. Don't look at it as, oh my God, will people come and will they buy it? Will they support me? It's not about that. It's about you are valuable. Your message is valuable. You have a lot to share. You want to help other people know and receive what you know. And so writing a book gives you that opportunity to get your message out there. Share your message so it can be heard.
Love that.
And this was Gail's brilliant idea that we talked the day after Oprah gave her amazing, hopefully presidential speech for, at the Golden Globes. And you can just see what she wrote here. The time is now. What I know for sure is that speaking your truth is the most powerful tool we all have. And I'm especially proud and inspired by all the women who have felt strong enough and empowered enough to speak up and share their personal stories. And yes, while they were talking about sexual harassment, this is absolutely true for writing a book. That to feel inspired and empowered is what we're here to do. It is WSA's mission. And WSA Publishing is very compatible with that mission to help you get your message out in a concrete way.
Mm-hmm. And isn't it true? I was doing some research on Oprah after I was, her message, her speech at the Golden Globes really re-engaged me as to who she was, because she was a person that came from poverty and has built up into a multi-billion-dollar business, her own business. And the foundational principle of why she was so hot in the marketplace and people, she built that fan club very easily, is because she shared who she was. She became, words like approachable were used to describe her. That she just spoke her truth, and look what it did, right? Yeah, I love that. I love all the words that came, and I know in speaking to many of our members, when I hear their stories, it moves me emotionally a lot of the time as to their stories. And I wish, I say this to our team all the time, I wish everybody could hear this person's story. She is amazing. Everybody has to get to know her. And so often and so many times I feel that way, because you got to know that you are amazing and your message matters. And people do need that opportunity to get to know you.
Exactly. And this is it. Let's chat. If any of this was of interest to you, the first step is let's have a conversation. You can go to wsapublishing.com. And thank you to the amazing women of WSA who put this together. It's what a group. I can't say enough words. I'm pretty new to it, but the way that everybody comes together when they need to come together is extraordinary. So I just want to reach out and just say thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh, well, thank you. And I hope everybody listening right now realizes, after you've got to know Karen a bit, that we have really, you are really behind the curtain within the publishing industry. Remember her expertise. Remember the big names, Martha Stewart, President Jimmy Carter, John Grisham, the people that she's worked with. You are getting the straight goods, and that's what we want to really bring to you. I've heard too many. One of the big attractions with Karen is that you should know that within the publishing world, there's different levels, and Karen brings global distribution rights. Correct, Karen?
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
What does that mean to you? That means that when your book is published, no matter where you are on this planet, she can do that. So if you visit wsapublishing.com, and I know, Tracy, you're listening right now, if you could pop that into the chat box, but if you visit wsapublishing.com, you'll see a variety of questions that we put out there. And if any of those questions are in your mind right now, or you're thinking about those, please just go ahead, click on the link. For a very short time, we're going to open up the opportunity for you to be able to talk to Karen directly, one-on-one. It's not about pitching any ideas or anything like that. It's about or if you want to pitch your idea on a book idea of what would sell, what wouldn't, she'll give you the straight goods. It's not too often we can have access to this high of level within the publishing world to really know how to do this and do this right, because that's the big part, right? Because it does. So it does take some time to get that out there. The great thing with Karen is she has assured us that she's walking you through step by step.
Right. Right. And just if you just want to brainstorm, I find that what stops some people is, well, I have 5 ideas and I'm not exactly sure what to write about. It's not about a lack of, nothingness. It's more about, there's too much. And so I can help you distill that down based on your priorities. But I'd love to have a conversation with you to talk about, even if you feel like your book is in the distant future, I think there's no time like the present to at least start planning it.
Mm-hmm. We're getting a lot of comments, just so you know, Karen, in the Facebook. Very inspiring, great information.
Oh, good.
Timely information from Ashley. Sounds like there's a book in her. And I do have a question here from Terry, and it says, can you explain more about what hybrid publishing is?
Sure.
Actually, I'd like to know that too.
Be happy to. So we all know about self-publishing, Create Space, and Lulu and Book Baby and other places like that, where you go up and basically do everything yourself and you don't really have help to do that. And then there's traditional publishing, Simon & Schuster and Macmillan and Random House, those, the big kahunas, as they say. So traditional publishers, you need an agent. They own the rights to your book. Their royalties are anywhere between 8 and 12% of the list price of the book. And they won't publish your book till it takes about 18 months or so for your book to actually get out on the marketplace. Hybrid is right in the middle. Hybrid, the advantages are that we get your book out to market in 8 to 12 weeks. You have a person, such as myself or other people that work in hybrids. You have a person to work with you throughout the process so that you're not alone. In self-publishing, like with Create Space, you go up and they have all these templates, and then you upload files, and it's all done electronic. Well, we assign you an editor that you work with in person, one-on-one. In production person, you get to consult with the interior, with the cover designer. All of you get to interact with all of our experts, with me or someone else being the project manager, in a sense, to make sure that everything is flowing. So you're never abandoned in the process. The difference, though, is that with hybrid publishing, you do pay for these services. So with traditional publishing, They might give you a small advance, $5,000. If you're lucky, $20,000. But again, they own the rights to your book. And as I said before, there are some downsides. It takes 18 months to 2 years to get your book out on market. So hybrid really is right in between. It's a fairly new way to publish. We take advantage of a technology called print on demand. So instead of printing 5,000 copies of your book and storing it in a warehouse and hope that Barnes and Noble or other bookstores are going to order enough books to ship out into the warehouse, print on demand allows you. So when Amazon and Barnes and Noble and Walmart or places like that want to order the book, we print for demand. So that way you're not stuck with returns, and you're not stuck with a lot of nasty things that cut into profits in the industry.
Great question. Great answer. That was a great question. Karen, could you please just flip us back to the screen prior to this, just so people have that website?
Sure.
Because we really want to encourage you to connect with Karen directly. I do have another question here from Janet, and she was curious about, when it comes to publishing a book, what to consider when choosing a format. Should it be book, ebook, course? Because you did run us over a variety of options.
Right. That's a great question, but it would be customized for each person. Because some people have already come to me and say, well, I have this online course. And I go, great, let's make a book out of the online course. Or they say, well, I'm a blogger. And I say, great, let's make a book out of your blogs, and we can create themes, on the book. So when we do a book with Hybrid Global Publishing, we do a print book. Primarily it's paperback. If you absolutely wanted it in hardcover, we would certainly talk to you about that. But primarily we do paperback and ebook at the same time. So I believe that it's important to have at least both of those. Audiobook usually comes later, just because there's a lot of technical things that we have to do, and who's going to do the voiceover and all of that. So usually that comes later, and the print book comes first. That's usually the first in what we call the sales funnel. But again, other people have said, I've done the webinar, I've done the course, but mostly it's done with the book first.
Right. That's awesome. And thank you for your questions. I know we're getting questions in Facebook. What we are going to do is monitor those questions. You can, I guess, stop sharing right now, because then we can come back on and wrap up here. I want to thank everybody for their time today. I want to be conscious of our shared time. And we are going to, as I mentioned, we are going to be monitoring all the questions and answering them. We're getting $1 million questions in here. What are the fees for services? Absolutely. That's always number one on my mind.
Number one, right.
So we want to make sure that that's answered. But let me assure you of one thing. One of the missions of Women Speakers Association is that within this industry, having been in this industry a long time, working with entrepreneurs, I've always been saddened by people being taken advantage of, extraordinary high prices. I've always used the analogy that, as an entrepreneur, we have limited budget and time because we are it, right? And when we make a decision on something, or we choose to invest in something, it's a major thing for us. Major. It's a major commitment in time, energy, finances, resources. When a corporation makes those same decisions, I've watched, working in Fortune 500 for years, I've watched corporations just no problem. And it's the equivalent of, and if they made a bad decision, it's the equivalent of they've chipped a nail. Whereas we, as entrepreneurs, make a bad decision, it's like somebody's broke both our legs. It can literally freeze us. I've seen too many businesses drop that way. My personal commitment when we were first starting up Women Speakers Association, that no woman's business will go down that way. And we've made sure that we only align with people that are on that same vision. So the most important part here is to get your message out. So there are a variety of ways for you to do that that can put you in the range of less than 1,000
Right.
to having your own book hardcover and getting it out there. So we have a good range, but the most important part, as Karen, you shared at the very beginning, it's all about what the purpose of your book is for and where you are at. But the most important part is take that first step, get the message out. And that's why we want to make this process really easy for you and step with you. And the first step is just have a phone conversation with Karen. So when you visit wsapublishing.com, there is a link to book a time with her, to get on a call and she will ask you, what's your purpose of this book? And figure out the best way and give you some options on how it fits. Okay? So with that, Karen, do you have any final words that you'd like to share?
I just want to thank you all for coming and listening. And as you can see, Gail and I are extremely passionate about this program. That I think there's nothing more important, particularly if you're, frankly, a woman-owned business, to have that credibility and that expertise. And publishing a book is a great example for that. And just to add on to what Gail was saying, there are many ways to do that. We can do a mini book. We can do a joint venture book, which Gail and I will be announcing very soon. We're really, really excited about that topic. And that will be $1,000 or less. And then all the way up to your own book. So there we have lots of ways and options to fit your budget and to fit your timing. So I hope you really will have a conversation. You have nothing to lose by having a conversation with me, except you might say after 20 minutes, oh, that was like 20 minutes I couldn't get back. But I hope you won't say that. I don't think so, but it will be fun, and I'd love to meet with everybody.
Okay. New York-based publisher Karen Strauss, thank you very, very much. Really looking forward to sharing this journey together and really working with all of you and getting your messages out. I want to thank you for joining in today. Please visit wsapublishing.com. And of course, we also have support at womenspeakersassociation.com. If you ever want to connect, have any specific questions about Women Speakers Association, we'd be happy to connect with you. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Karen. Wherever you are in this world, I know we have a lot of people from around the world today. Wherever you are, I want to wish you the very best of success for 2018 and what this new year brings for you. So thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.